Bye. Long time no vlog. Vlog, is that right? Vlog. Well, last time I did one of these was for Black Canyon. I was gonna do one for, what was the one I did a week and a half ago? Badger Mountain 50 mile. I was gonna do one, there's a couple like logistical issues with doing it. I was using a smaller pack, it's only a 50 miler, 8 stations are closer together. Didn't really have a good place to put the GoPro, and then, what was that, my poles, I couldn't break them down because they were all probably salt from a bazillion miles of sweating all over them, but so I ended up carrying them the whole time, and yeah, I just didn't have a place to put the GoPro, so I left it in pickup. But Badger Mountain 50 miler, it's like first race that I executed the plan properly. With nutrition, I did 90 grams of carbs an hour, which is, you know, I'd been pushing 130, 140, even 150. Kind of found that, at least playing around my long runs, that when I get that high, I start getting nauseous. My tummy gets all sloshy, and I spend, you know, miles on miles trying not to toss my cookies. So backed off on carbs, did a couple long runs like that, felt fine. Badger Mountain did really well, went out stupid slow, kind of went with the idea that it was going to be a long training run, long supported training run. So even the downhill stuff, I was running 10s and 11s, super chill, keeping the heart rate nice and low. And then the plan was, you know, if I was feeling good, mile 40 and beyond, start like evaluating, putting some effort into it. I ended up feeling pretty good, and then being on a pretty gentle grade at like mile 36, so started giving it a little gas, and yeah, and then started really kind of kicking it toward the end. 10 hours 20 minutes, super good, especially with that much vert, 8,500 feet of vert, not just a lot but some steep shit, like steep shit. So super good, super happy. I got 27th out of 178. It's really good. So, you know, Sedona's in 4 weeks. That's kind of my big one. I mean, I do have Hard Rock qualifier later this year. So really all I care about is finishing that one. I like to get into 200s. That's kind of the goal, is getting into 200s. And Sedona's 125. Desert, and then up into higher elevations, 7,000, 7,500 feet at times. So, you know, it's kind of getting more toward that style of race. It also plays more to my strengths. You know, the more I do this, the more I find that, you know, 210 to 220 pounds, depending on how much I eat for breakfast and how big my shit is in the morning. You know, that's not great for like absolute speed, but you know, if I'm smart about it, hills are becoming a strength, like really a strength. I was getting to the point to where, I'm gonna back off a little bit for Sedona just because it's so far. I was getting to the point to where I was power hiking like some of the super steep stuff in like upper zone 3 and just like flying by people, and then get up to the top and I can run. So, you know, it's kind of funny Hills were a big weakness last year, big strength this year. I think right now the endurance, muscular endurance, I think that was a weakness last year where it was still developing. I think that's a strength, but we're not going to know until, you know, I try to push something farther. I just can't be stupid like Black Canyon, like run, you know, mid-upper zone 3 for 20 something miles and expect to like kill it on a 100K race. So yeah, I mean, you know, I think I've talked about gear. Got a new pack, by the way, something a little bit bigger because, you know, my Solomon 12 liter pack, like all these little bungee cord things were just shredding. I think even the chest one was almost destroyed. I mean, I'll probably put 2,500 miles on it. So I got a new pack. I'm kind of fiddling around with the sizing, like where to put the straps and stuff, because it's chafing the shit out of my neck today. But, you know, talked about gear, talked about different race stuff. Like, I get a lot of questions from folks how, which is kind of what I've, I think, talked about the most. Also get a lot of questions about why. So my heart rate's a smidge higher than I want it. So why? First, adventure of it, you know, get running cool places. When, you know, you kind of, when I run my race plan for Sedona, kind of build it out. I'm going to be climbing up the big climb, maybe even at the top on the Cocachino Plateau, overlooking the red rocks of Sedona at sunset. And that's going to be a cool picture. Hopefully I'm like aware enough to actually take it. So, you know, there's the adventure of it. There's, God, I like to compete. And, you know, baseball was my thing for a long time. And then I quit playing baseball. I didn't really have anything to scratch that itch. Really wasn't even going to get into running again. This whole thing was by accident. Like, I was going to do ran a trail race, a couple friends, nice and short, and then I was like, man, that was kind of fun. Decided to do like a couple half marathon length trail races. Of course, I gotta geek out, gotta go on YouTube, gotta see what's up, gotta try to do it right, not hurt myself. And then I started getting ultra running videos in my feed. And I started watching some of those and like, I just had to do that. Had to try it. Last year the big goal was 100 miles. Did 100 miles. This year I wanted to run some cool races. I've run one. Black Canyon was cool, even though I sucked. Sedona's gonna be cool. The back half of the Cocodona 250 course. You know, I mean, you go over the start list for the 250 and I'm probably gonna run into and rub elbows with some of these folks who make some of the videos that I've been watching. Yeah, I also want to run like Western States and Hard Rock. Well, in order to get into them, you gotta qualify for them. Black Canyon qualified me for Western States again, so I'll be able to put in for that drawing. The Mogollon Monster will get me into the Hard Rock drawing. Next year I want to do 200s. So yeah, I like to compete. I'm old. I'm not built for this. Kinda. You know, I'm not saying like when I want to compete that I want to necessarily win. I mean, it's not really in the cards. I think there's certain smaller races where maybe getting on the podium might be in the cards, or winning the age group might be in the cards, but you know, the bigger stuff, forget about it. Those dudes aren't, and ladies, they're not human. They're something entirely different. Anybody that can run, what was that? Winter Halfling 100 ran in 12 and change. So last year, do the math on what a 12 hour 100 mile, what that equates to in minutes per mile. And this stretch that over 100, it's mind blowing how fast these folks are. The other thing, I like to do hard things. I like to do stuff that I like to challenge myself. I like to ask myself, like, what can I do? Well, how do you know what you can really do? I mean, really do, unless you really try. Somebody told me 2 years ago, let alone 5 years ago, that I would have ran 100 miles in under 24 hours. I would have told them they were bonkers that I'd run 100 miles, let alone under 24. You know, I would have told them they were bonkers that I'd ever even try to run another marathon. And now, like, one marathon, it just sounds so small and so quick. You know, try not to sound like a jerk or anything like that when folks ask me. I mean, it's all perspective. The expectation that, you know, somebody's gonna understand, like, I don't know, going at this is a hard part people don't understand. The amount of effort. Like, you watch me right now, I'm breathing pretty good. I'm still speaking 4, 5, 6-ish, 3, 4, 5, 6 word sentences. My heart rate's firmly in zone 2. And that's kind of the point. You know, I'm trying to meter my work effort. You know, there's a whole bunch of factors that go into getting it right and being able to go a long way. You have to be able to replace what you're using: calories, electrolytes, fluids. Okay, so therefore you have to know how much you're using, which you only learn by experimenting. Tree down. And then zone 2 running, or I mean, for me, well, it's zone 1/zone 2 running. You may see, Doug, you're hiking an awful lot. Yeah, I'm trying to keep my heart rate low. That's the point. You know, you start, as long as you're working aerobically, you're using oxygen with your carbohydrates, maximizing the amount of fat that you're burning while you're running. Go a long ways. You know, you're not building up lactate. It's just a matter of, you know, muscular endurance. And you know, are you going to run out of one of those things you're trying to replace? Stretch is it's a Nerds gummy cluster break. See if I can do this. So like, what was that? That was, I've got my watch alarm set. Well, A, it tells me when my heart rate's too high. which is doing a lot because I'm climbing that hill, but I'm also not really thinking about, like, if I didn't have the stick out, I'd have my poles out and I'd be kind of using them to help me go up rather than just kind of going up. But then my other alarm that I've set is a 20-minute alarm. Every 20 minutes, I have a serving of Nerds Gummy clusters, which magically has about the same number, well, has the same number of carbohydrates as a goo gel. 2,500 calories. Magically, my hand is like almost perfectly one serving. So every 20 minutes, handful of Nerds gummies. It's basically a gel, 3 gels an hour, 75 grams of carbs an hour. For training runs, that's perfectly fine. I'll use gels on races just because they're convenient. I like the big PF90 ones. I think I've probably shown you that. They got the screw lid. You just squirt a squirt into the mouth, seal it up, pop it back in the pocket. 3 slurps, and then it's garbage. That's nice, but you know, this cheap. That's why I do this, because those damn things are like $5 a whack. Those bags, 8 servings each, are $4 or $5 for the whole thing. Nom 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 nom. Yeah, so you know, trying to manage energy output. Don't want to go too hard. I'm trying to not incur a buttload of muscular damage so that I can go further. Got fuel. Motor needs fuel, so got fuel. So yeah, so I end up hiking a lot of the uphills. Today I'm like going super chill. A lot of the time I would run this, so you know, don't think I'm a total loser. But yeah, it just kind of depends on what I'm doing. Long runs, like if I'm doing one loop, just one 14-mile loop, then yeah, I'll run 85% of it. Who cares if my heart rate gets up too high, because I'm only gonna be out here like 2 hours 45, maybe 3 hours on a bad day. Today I'm doing like 18, and so probably gonna be pushing 4 hours. I mean, I don't have to manage it too close then, but it's race rehearsal. Like everything from here on out, I'm 4 weeks out. I don't taper for another 2.5 weeks, but the fitness is done. Like I'm gonna have 3 peak weeks and a 10-day taper. But if I don't do anything but maintain, I'm golden. Fitness is in a pretty good place right now. I think I showed that at Badger, negative split 50 mile. 5 hours, 13 minutes the first 25. 5 hours, 7 minutes the second 25 miles. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. That's tough to do. Yeah. So I'm gonna finish this thing. I got a long ways to go. I'm actually still at the beginning. So I already ran this. Realized I forgot my GoPro. So I turned around and went back. It's actually good because it gave me a chance to change shoes, because man, I keep trying those Topo Vistas like over and over and over, because they feel so good walking around, but the downhill, like my right big toe just smashes into the front of it and I can't get the heel to lock down to where my foot doesn't slide. I keep wearing them, keep having the same problem. So I don't know, probably just gotta throw those away. I mean, we were at 12 and a half. you want to try a pair of Topo Vistas with probably about 200 miles long. I'm a guy you should get a hold of. All right, anywho, I'm going way too slow and I want to run a little bit. Thank you for your service. Yeah, bye.